Okay, so ladies, I want to thank you so much for inviting me into your home and letting me be a part of this DIY journey with you. When I started this business 7 years ago, I had this idea that I was going to teach women how to do home improvements. And it started with 5 women and a class in the local community center. And since then, I know that I have touched thousands and thousands of women through, YouTube, probably millions between YouTube and TV opportunities and live classes and things like that. So it truly is an honor for me to be able to be of service to you. I hope that you have learned a lot. I hope that I did not totally overwhelm your brains, because I know there's a lot of content and I had to hold back every week because there was even more that I could and wanted to share, but there's only so much you can digest in a period of time. So do you guys have any specific questions you brought tonight? Because I did not prepare a slide because nobody sent me any questions ahead of time. So I'm going to have to just play total on the cuff, answer questions, and see what you got coming up.
So I did actually email something.
Oh, did you? I never got it.
Because I just emailed it.
I've
been so busy. And so I know last week I said I knew where the water main was.
Yes.
So I own 2 condos. I live in one and rent the one below me. And they're exactly the same. So the water mains are the same. I don't think well, maybe I can show pictures through the video. I'll have to turn on my video. But so let me see if I can. I don't, first of all, but my main question is, first of all, I don't know where exactly the water main would be, but also, are there any issues with turning it off and having any kind of pressure buildup? I know the tank has a sensor that monitors pressure, but
now you have a well?
No.
Okay. So you're talking about just shutting off water to the whole house?
To the condo. Not
okay. So basically you're just going to shut down the water to your half, not the renter's half?
Well, I may do, well, for both, right? There won't be a renter in there until November. And because I'm going to be going away, and since I'm heeding your warning, I think it may be a good idea to just...
I would absolutely turn the water off to that condo. There's no reason,
right?
Except for, like I said, in the winter, you need to keep the water moving in the pipes to prevent freezing. So if no one is there to be using the water and keeping it moving and heating and all of that, then you have potential for frozen pipes. But before November, it's a non-issue. So I would definitely shut the water main off. You do not have to drain any pipes. You can leave the water sitting in your hot water heater.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything. All you're doing is preventing more water from flowing anywhere in case something else happens.
And it's not going to create like extra pressure to other units.
It shouldn't.
Okay.
It should not at all.
And I also turned down the heater. I didn't want to turn it off because then I'd have to relight the pilot.
Now this is for your water heater talking about, right?
That's the water, but I think everything goes through that. Well, a lot of the things do.
Well, right. I mean, your hot lines do, so you can certainly put your hot water heater into vacation mode. Most of them have such a setting. So you just have to look in the manual. Like I said before, if you don't have a current copy of your manual, look for the model and serial number, call, go on the website, whatever, and they ask for one. They can probably send you a PDF version.
Right.
But they should have a vacation mode, or at minimum, you just want to turn it down really low. The other thing is you can turn off the hot water heater. Well, is it gas or electric?
It's gas.
Okay. You could turn off the circuit breaker to the hot water heater.
I could.
And then it's just going to sit with cold water in it until you return.
Right. I'm more worried about the water itself than having the electric to it.
Right.
So let me show you. I'll have
Keep
to
in
do
mind, if you are not using hot water, the unit will heat it and let it cool, and heat it and let it cool, just because it's taught to keep the water at a certain temperature.
Right.
So you're right. Turn it down as low as it can go, so you're not wasting that energy. Again, it's a minimal amount of energy. But the key thing is, God forbid the pan or a hose, a pipe burst on the hot water heater, it'll just keep flowing and flowing if the water main isn't turned off. So.
Right. So when I had, okay, I'll show these pictures, but they both appear to be connected to the water heater. So this first one, I have two pictures. The one is the hot outlet. So let me see if you can. I don't know if the video.
And somebody asked, where do you live, Laura?
I live in Maryland.
Oh, okay. How did you even find out about this class?
I don't remember. Okay, I don't know. Here I am. Hi. Oh, you probably can. You can. So if you have email on your phone, I sent it to support at the support at do it yourself.
Yeah, well, okay. It just didn't arrive yet. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I can't see this very well either. It's not a.
But no, I can see. Hold that up again for me. Just hold up a little higher and a little further away.
Okay.
And bring it in a little bit. A little closer. All right. I see the two valves coming in.
That's the hot outlet. Right.
This is the hot water exiting. The cold water comes in on the top.
Well, actually, it's the reverse, because my cold, it's called cold return on the bottom.
Okay.
So you see that the red has an off and an on.
Okay.
So that's one. And then I have an identical.
Could you text that to me?
Can I text it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What number?
Yeah, 215.
Okay.
469 0332.
0332. All right.
What's your email address, Laura?
It's Thompson LA3.
Okay, that's all I need. That's okay.
Yeah. Do you have the email?
I'm in support right now.
Okay.
I'm actually in Beth's email, but whatever.
So she has access to everything. It's scary.
All right. I have to write another one here. Okay.
So your biggest concern is that the hot water heater could leak in your absence, basically.
Well, I'm not going to drain the tank. So the hot water, the water in that tank could.
Right. The 60 gallons in that, but it's not going to amount to 3 feet of water in the basement. You know, it'll be a puddle on the floor.
Right. Okay. Let me send you. I'll send you the two that have the valve on them.
Okay.
And then the cold and the hot, and yeah, they're.
So you still didn't find where the water main for the whole house is, though.
Well, see, I asked somebody about a month ago, and he had said it was off of the water heater, but you know, I'm not sure. I was sort of drinking a little at that party, so you know, I don't really remember. I took a bunch of.
All
right, wait a minute. I'll share it. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Here are photos of the cold return.
All right.
You can keep talking. Just give me 2 seconds.
Cold return. Hot outlet recirculating. See the cold coming in at the top. Your overflow valve.
Here's I'll send the one for the.
All right, I'm gonna, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to see it.
Thanks, Denise.
Yep. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome. And I'll show you the next one. There's another one.
Yeah. All right, so this is the cold return.
Recirculating loop connection.
Above this red handle.
Oh.
At the bottom.
See, there's one at the top and there's one at the bottom. I get it.
Yeah.
I can put them
Trying to
side by side.
see the handle, cold return handle at the top. Why does it look like there's a yellow hose?
Because there is.
These are the two side by side.
I can send more. So I also sent, but it may not be relevant, where the knob is to
Okay.
check.
Because you see on the one that says cold return,
Yeah.
there's a yellow hose
Yeah.
right above the sous chef,
Yeah.
the sous chief handle. All right, I'm just perplexed because usually all yellow lines are gas. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I can see on the other one. It's not a yellow pipe. It's just tinged yellow. Okay, now I see it on the other one. I can see it closer up on the hot one. It's not a true yellow gas line. So I got it. So you have no valves on the top of the unit where this water line is coming in at the top. There's no other valves up there?
Well, it looks like there's something. I mean, if you look at the photo on the left, it looks like there's some yellow tinged hose coming in. There are a lot of other pipes. I mean, I could text.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the tank where you see the hot outlet. The hose that is narrow coming in at the top with the copper band at the bottom, that's your cold inlet.
Okay.
Can you trace that to another valve?
Well, the one that I just sent you may actually be that hose or pipe that I just texted you right now.
Okay. Oh, there we go. There's some more pictures.
In that one photo I just sent you, the gas is up on the far right, the upper right.
Yes. All right. That's the gas line. Okay. Initially, when I first looked at that, I thought the top of that thing coming into the copper line was gas, and it made no sense. But oh, okay. See, we're getting closer to understanding where your water main is.
We are?
Oh, she sent me another picture.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I could email the pictures I just sent if you
this picture that, can you see that? Do you see the meter? Do you see the water meter?
The water meter.
Right in the middle. You see
yes, I do.
Down T.
Yes.
That is your water meter. You see the little red knob to the side? That's another valve. I'm just perplexed why your supply lines are not copper. Typically, supply lines are either copper or they're PEX, which is a new plastic form, and these don't look like, they don't look like PEX. Oh no, okay, they do say that they're rated for drinking water. Okay, I can see that printed on the side, so that's good. So there is your meter. There's a small box on the side of your meter.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
You see that in the photo. It's a white box?
Yeah, it looks like a little, I don't know, like transistor radio size thing. Do you have any idea what that is?
No, but I can look.
I wonder if it's part of the meter reading or an alarm. How long have you been in this place?
Oh, you know, I didn't put a water alarm there, but it could in fact be a water alarm. So that particular place I purchased at the end of 2014. I have a supposedly identical unit that I'm sitting in right now.
Okay.
But that's not the picture, the specific picture. And since the owners before me may have changed some things, I'm not sure if that could very well be a water alarm, but I don't know.
Okay. And it looks as if you have another meter coming in at the very top of that room. And there's other valves.
where the gas stuff is.
Yeah, up near the corner where the gas is.
Yeah.
It looks like there's another alarm attached and a meter reading, and then there's another copper line on top with a valve.
Right, I see that.
So you're in a condo. So is there any maintenance provided to you?
No.
You're all on your own.
I mean, except that I do have a subscription or whatever you call it with a James A. Wheat and Sons, HVAC and etc. and plumbing, HVAC and plumbing, and I can talk with them. Actually, they'll be here mid-September. They'll be looking at both of my units.
Okay, I would ask them to take a few minutes. I mean, it's hard for me to see all of this via pictures, to understand the construction of the building, how they're adjoined and all of that. You know, in a freestanding home, it would be a lot easier to identify where the water main is, because there's nobody else you're connected to. So I would ask them to walk through with you. You want to understand, where is the water main coming in? Ask the question. I mean, it should not affect the pressure. Water will just move to the path of least resistance, so it shouldn't affect your neighbors. But you could confirm that shutting off something in your unit isn't going to shut off something for somebody else. Yeah. Like, you know, you could shut off something in your house and it shuts off a hose bib for somebody else. You know, like, you just don't know how it's plumbed. Right. You know, did it start off as a condo, or was the house modified and changes were made? You know what I mean? That kind of a
it started out as an apartment. So it was always, you know, a 2-person
unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good, because then, you know, you shouldn't have that overflow that you are impacting another resident. But, you know, and then after you understand where your gas shutoff is, your gas main, where your water main is, you want to put a sticker. I showed you the picture. I put a tag on it. Mm-hmm. Do that, especially for your renter's unit.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
You know, and, you know, put together a list and say, you know, when you travel, I'd like you to turn off the water main. Right. Yeah. You know, and just put together what your expectations are for caring for the property, just to avoid any issues.
Right. And I guess, like, before these workers come to look at everything and explain to me where the main is, I guess I could just turn off, like, the toilet and the sink and the washing machine. I do know where those individual valves are, but that's not, again, that won't create a buildup of pressure. Like, if I forget to turn off some of them and not the others, I'm just afraid it's going to create pressure somewhere else.
It'd be fine. We did our bathroom, you know, 5 years ago, and it was like 3 weeks. You know, we had all the valves in our bathroom shut off. Never had an issue anywhere else in the house.
Okay.
You know,
if I'm going to be away, I don't want to create a problem and then.
Right. You know, ideally, if you can find the water main, which I'm thinking, it doesn't make sense that the water main is going right to the hot water heater, you know, because you have the cold line that comes to the hot water heater, and then it comes out hot, but you've got this weird recirculating loop. So when all else fails, you can just turn both of those valves, your hot outlet and your cold return, but turn off the unit. You need to turn off the power, because you don't want to stop water flow and have it reheating and burn the core out because it's heating and has no water or something. So, but yeah, I definitely think you want to have someone who can see the whole setup, walk through, and please just label things. You know, even just for yourself, you could throw a piece of painter's tape around a pipe and leave 3 or 4 inches and write on the you know, stick it together, you know, painter's tape, and write on it what it is, where it's headed, whether it's coming or going, hot, cold, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay.
So, or use a twist tie or a zip tie, you know, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it can be a little overwhelming if you don't have the opportunity to go through that like at time of purchase and have a home inspector walk you through and point these things out. I had one gal who, oh my gosh, I was so horrified. She had lived in her place about a year, and she had me coming in to do some stuff with her. And every time I'm at a woman's house, I always say to them, do you know where the water main is? You know, do you know where this is? Are you familiar with the I always ask these questions because I want to make sure they understand these basic homeownership things. And she said to me, she goes, I have no idea where the hot water heater is. She said, I know the circuit breaker. So we start opening closets and whatever. She had this little tiny access panel behind a wall opposite her kitchen sink. And we took the access panel off. And she said, oh yeah, they did replace the hot water heater before I moved in. It was part of the agreement of sale. Well, it was a tiny condo. She had a tiny unit. I'm telling you, it must have been like, I don't know, 30 inches high. It was tiny. Carved into this little space, you could not turn the valve because there was a 2x4 right above where you would shift the valve to turn it off.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, who put this in? You know, you saw how your valve had a paddle valve or, you know, a lever handle, either one. Well, that was the same setup she had. And because there was no clearance to move that handle, he should have put the handle further down the copper line so it was on the side of the tank, or he should have put in like a round hose bit because she could have been able to turn it. So she then now had to hire another plumber to come out to redo that valve because the 2x4, she couldn't pass it.
Yeah, I'm surprised the home inspector didn't note that.
I think the need for the hot water heater came up on inspection, and he never went back after the hot water heater was replaced.
Okay. Speaking of my hot water heaters, so I see in the text, how old is the condo? So I purchased the one I live in end of 2005. It was, you know, a new water heater at that time. I still have it, and I'm positive the one below me is still the original. So it's getting toward the worry time. I mean, it's past the worry time because let's see, that's 13 years old. So they're
the hot water heater's 13.
Yeah, both of them are.
So,
yeah.
if you were given a good one to start with, many of them, they typically have either 6-year or 12-year warranties. So our first one lasted 12 years. It had a 12-year warranty. So it was right on time. The current one we have, knock on wood, right? Find some wood, is, let's see, the other one lasted 12. This one's going on 9 years, and it has a 6-year life. Because at the time, we didn't want to spend a lot for another one. You know, now I would invest in Bradford White. Bradford White is one of the best ones on the market. I would definitely go. I've talked to enough HVAC and plumbing guys since we put this in to understand that the ream is, sorry, not the ream. The Bradford White is really the one to go to.
So Bradford White, that's not the, is that the brand of
the brand? That's the brand of hot water heater.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So Bradford White or Ream, okay, so, are really some of the better brands. We have a Ream, and you know, I told you before, I think I told you, we had a problem with the hot water heater. We would get in the shower and then it would get cool, and we had to replace the dip tube. So the dip tube was that thing that went in on the top to push the cold water down so it could all recirculate. Okay. Well, of course, I did my research. I knew what the part was. I ordered the part. It was $7 or whatever. And I could not get the brass fitting out of the top of the tank. It's called a nipple. It's this double-ended brass fitting. Well, I couldn't get it out. Water build up and sediment. I could not move the wrench hard enough. And I was afraid to go crazy with it and cause damage to the whole tank. So I ended up calling my plumber, and he laughed and he said, you just need a wrench. I said, I just need your wrench. I need a big ass wrench. So he came over and he made one turn, popped the seal, and we dropped the dip tube back in. But The company was great though, because I got on the phone, they did troubleshooting with me, they helped me identify the part I needed to replace, and they ordered it for me, and you know, it was nominal. So before people just run out and call the plumber who's going to charge you $100 for the visit, you can try to do some of that troubleshooting. Now, my plumber didn't even charge me to come out because I sent him clients. You know, I'm always referring people to him. You know, it took him 15 minutes, you know, to loosen this thing up for me. Right. But use the manual, use the hotline, and troubleshoot when you can and save yourself some money. Plus, you're going to educate yourself more on the system and potential problems down the road. So
yeah. Years ago, I had downloaded a manual, and I happened to find it on somewhere in my cloud storage. But then when I look at the brand of the heater, well, downstairs is Apollo.
Okay.
I'm not sure upstairs if it's the same. But then the manual it had a different name, so I don't know if I don't know where I got that, but it didn't have any information about
maintenance and care.
Well, it did have, you know, where certain things were, but yeah, for some reason I was thinking, because I was told that the water main was off of the water heater, but yeah, that doesn't mean it's necessarily on the heater, and so
well, no, the water main has to be feeding the hot water heater. The water has to come from somewhere. Okay. So you have to look at either that cold recirculating loop and go back and see where that's coming from to find the main, or from the top coming down, see where does that trace back. I'm just looking at your picture again.
Okay.
Pictures are so awesome. I am such a visual person. Yeah, that cold recirculating loop. Yeah, I can't see from the picture. It goes up the side of the tank below the hot outlet and goes towards the wall, right?
Yeah.
And then when it goes towards the wall, it heads over to all that mishmash.
Yeah, that's what it looks like piecing together the picture, but I can, yeah, it's got to come from the wall somewhere, because everybody, you know, we all share the same, you know, main line, and it just goes.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously out in the street,
right?
You know, there's a main supply line, so you just have to investigate where that valve is.
Yeah.
So, do you have another neighbor that you're close to in the?
Yeah, and I could find out exactly.
Ask them if they've identified where the main is. Just
I'll try to contact the person I was talking with before and say, where is it exactly? Because I know it was something red. It sounded very. The reason why I didn't like write anything down is because it sounded pretty obvious.
Right.
Some kind of red switch off. So then I was focusing on the red, and you know, as I said, I was sort of drinking a little, so obviously my memory isn't. But this person's on the board, so I can.
Oh, okay, on the condo board. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? They're going to want to know that you know where things are, because damage to one unit causes damage to another, which causes a nightmare for everybody. So I'm sure they'll be able to. I would suspect if you just trace that cold return somewhere back up into that mess, you'll find. I would expect it's going to be one of the metal paddle valves, not the little smaller red plastic one.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, because I would not trust my whole house shut off to one of the plastic lines. Right. You'd want to have it be one of the metal valves, and they're all brass and copper, and that's how it should be for a main.
Okay.
So,
very good. Thank you.
I don't trust the plastic for stopping everything, you know. So
yeah.
So do you guys have any other questions? Kim or Linda? Have any burning issues? This afternoon, I spent, it literally takes me hours, but I spent a few hours this afternoon and I put together a PDF, which I'm going to ask Denise to put into the portal. I'm going to share it with you. Let me open it up first, and then there it is, and then I'll do the screen share. I put together a PDF of all of the hanging hardware. So I went through, let me move our little pictures out of the way. There we go. I put together this PDF on different hanging pieces. So I talked about the type of fastener you might find on the back of your art, and then what you should use to hang it to the wall. Okay, so I did that for a few of these items. And then I also went down into some TV tips and what you do if you don't have any hanger on the back, like you have an object and it has nothing to hang it with, how you would, you know, decide on that. And then just little photo reminders of the different products, what they're called, and when you would use them. So Denise will add that up to the portal for you. And you could actually print that out or just pull it up and look at it. And it has just quick little reminders all on one page. Is somebody talking? I thought I heard somebody.
No, it was me texting you.
Did you really just text me again?
What? I just texted you again. I'm not.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not muted.
And she wants me to open up something else.
The other PDFs. Do you want to share the other PDFs that you created?
Yeah, I just have to find them.
I mean, they're up in the portal. They're up in Teacherate.
There we go. I have to find them.
Do you want me to find them? Because I can find them quicker than you.
Of course you can find them quicker than me.
I don't mean to be rude, but
no, that she like totally organizes everything I do, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I can't find them.
All right, you have to stop sharing.
Okay, I will stop sharing. Hold on. Stop the share.
Okay.
Vacation
checklist.
Okay. Oh, so Kim said she doesn't have any questions. She's listening. Will you do the woodworking class again? Yeah. So you're talking about, oh gosh, which one did I do?
You just did carpentry.
Oh, I did that live class. Is that what you're talking about, Kim? I did the live class in Warminster. And Denise and I were just talking recently about putting together a few other one topic specific classes in this venue. So
we're
one of
sending
them
a survey tomorrow, and we'll have all the options in there. But
yeah, so we were looking at doing a carpentry class that I would do, and I would put in some video showing how the wood is cut and things. So I would do a wood class, a decorating class, a window treatments class. So we'll let you know about those things. So yeah, what Denise is opening up is a whole series of PDFs. So yeah, if you pop to the first one, Denise, the vacation. So these are some tips on how to prep your home before you go away. Obviously, turn off the water. I'm a big fan of that. You just want to make sure things are unplugged. We had a neighbor who had an electrical fire in their house. Their house did not burn, but the toaster burnt to a crisp, burnt some kitchen cabinets, and created so much smoke damage that the whole house had to be gutted. So before you go away, unplug that toaster, the curling iron, you know, the Keurig, anything that generates heat should be unplugged before you travel, okay? Secure the cars, you know, things like that. Make sure that you're not leaving the garage door opener in the car and leaving the car unlocked type of move. I always call the police department, tell them that we're leaving, because why not? They'll scan your house. It's part of what they do. I'm a really bad person at this. It says, don't be social. You know, when we go on social media and say, hey, I'm away. I do that all the time. It's really bad, but we shouldn't. Let's see. Again, reminder not to turn your heat less than 55 degrees when you do travel, because you don't want to set up a risk for frozen pipes. So, Denise, can you scroll down? Yeah, leave a light on. Beware of dog. Oh, and this is really silly, but it works. go to the dollar store and buy a cheap silver dog dish and leave it by the front door. It gives the illusion that you have a dog. Nobody has to know that you don't. Somebody sees that and they're like, oh yeah, all right, they might have a dog and it's not worth it, and move on. Get the beware of dog sign, stick it out when you travel. Who cares? Take it, put it back when you come home. Little things just to safeguard your home. So, Denise, can you do the paint one? This is a paint checklist. This is for you to be able to write down the color and the code, brand, the sheen, and the date of all the paints that you use in your house, so that you can keep track of it, so that when the can gets faded and worn, you know what the colors were. I see Laura's shaking her head because she's had that happen.
Well, it may happen. I have to look at the cans of paint.
Yeah, and it's just not a bad idea to be able to just have that all in one simple place, and not be kind of scattered. Because I know I, over the years, have not done a good job of doing this until recently, and I'm cursing at times, because I wasn't able to identify what color I needed from all the cans of paint,
I don't remember what color was in the family room, and we got a hole in the wall, and then we had to try to go match it. Like we had to take a chip off and then the paint store. But now I have the colors of every other room. So.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good thing that you brought up there, Denise. If you need to match a color and you don't have the can, you're clueless, you can take a utility knife and cut out a piece of the drywall. Okay, you need a piece of the drywall paper with the paint attached to it, about 2 by 2 inch square. Take it from behind the sofa, from down low behind furniture, up behind, maybe you have heavy drapes or something. Take it off the top of the window trim, whatever. Some out of the place way. Cut off a little sample. Take it to the store and they'll scan it and they'll get you a really, really close match. Now, we did that because we had changed our security system panel. And of course, the old panel was rectangular, the new one's vertical. So we had paint that wasn't touched up. And I believe that our old paint sheen was more of a satin finish, but it has faded over the years. It's like 17-year-old beige paint in our foyer, but it still looks good. I'm not repainting. So the guy gave me an eggshell instead of the original satin so that the sheens would match up. So you want to have that conversation. And it's such a great match. You would never know that it was a 17-year later touch-up. So keep that in mind. All right, Denise, can you hit the electric? I gotta put my glasses back on. This is some tips on power failures. Sometimes when the power goes out, we kind of panic. Well, is it you or is it the whole neighborhood? Is it the transformer in the area? So you kind of want to figure that out. Is it your house? Is it just one room? Identify, is it certain things on one circuit? So you have to investigate a little bit. And it's really important that you have in your cell phone the phone number for the power company. We're here in Philly. I have the Pico, outage number in my cell phone so that when the outage happens, you can dial it in, because the more reports they have of an outage, the more attention it gets. So it's important to have that number. And when you have the number, you can call and you can get updates about when it'll be restored. But if the power is out, you can't go looking it up necessarily on your computer. Maybe you can on your cell phone, but the Wi-Fi could be down. You know what I mean? So it's nice to just do it ahead of time and have that number available. Cell phones, always you can charge them in your car. Make sure you have a charger that you can use. Make sure that your big items, those big TVs and computers are on surge protectors. That's important. Please, can you scroll down just a little for me? Awesome, thanks. Fridge and freezer. This is huge. This is my biggest panic when power goes out is, am I gonna lose the contents of the fridge and the freezer? Because it's expensive. We have 2 refrigerators and a full-size freezer in our house. I've got 3 teenage boys. there's a, you know, I stock up on meats and bread and ice cream and all that. So do not open that fridge or freezer for any reason whatsoever. When the power goes out, I take duct tape and I put it over the handle as a reminder to everybody, don't open it. Because you, by, you know, just instinct, you'll go over and you'll go to open it. And we just live without this contents. It'll last 4 hours unopened, the fridge will, and you've got 48 hours in a packed freezer. So, you know, it's usually enough time to get through an outage. But here's a tip. We lose power a lot. We're actually thinking about a generator. But if you know that that mother of all mother storms is coming, you know, and they're warning us about power outages, I take Ziploc bags and you fill them 3/4 with water and you put them in the freezer. And then they freeze and they act as ice packs for everything that's in there. So that'll buy you more time. So keep that in mind when those bad storms are predicted, that you can pack it. And the other thing is to shove everything as tightly together as it can and keep it all towards the back so that the stuff on the door is going to thaw sooner than the stuff at the back. So kind of pack it all in and it'll last longer. And then there's also a link to the US government website that tells you like timetables of the different foods and, you know, and what to eat and what not to eat. So let's see. And then the generator thing. I don't know who has a generator or not, but there's this thing about backloading that the generator, you're supposed to use a generator to feed the appliances. Some people will try to backload it and run the whole house, and it's not designed to do that unless it is a whole house generator, and you can cause a major electrical and potential explosive hazard. So
what does backloading mean?
It's about taking the charge. It's about trying to charge the generator. Instead of letting the generator charge, but you know, the freezer or whatever, people will try to charge the generator so it can charge more things, and it's dangerous. So don't do it. Oh, and the other thing is people will take their gas generators and they'll stick them out in the driveway in the rain. You have to keep them out of the rain, but you shouldn't keep it in the garage because of the fumes buildup. So that's when that sports tent is really helpful, because you pop the sports tent on the driveway, sandbag the legs if you have to, if it's raining and windy and all that. But you really got to keep in mind that you don't want the generator to be sitting in a monsoon, you know, the gas powered little portable ones. So just be safe. So, okay. And then there's the contractor list, how to find a good contractor, because this is hard. I am trying right now to find a window guy, a window and door guy here in, you know, Bucks, Montgomery County for 2 clients, because the old guy that I used to go to won't do doors and windows anymore. He's just doing full remodels. So, so here's a few things. You know, you want to ask the contractor, ask them a lot of questions and see how responsive they are to answering them. If you start to get that sense that he thinks you're a pain in the ass, then maybe you don't want to work with him. That's my red flag. Like, I need to be able to ask you 1,000 questions and you be cool with that, because I'm going to. Will they share referrals? I usually don't go to people unless I've gotten a referral in the first place, but they should be willing to share up other people they've worked with. Of course, they're going to send you the happy customers. You know, they're not going to send you the unhappy ones, but ask them for license and insurance information. I'll be honest with you, in the 7 years I've been working, no one's ever asked me, but I do have it. Will they listen to your ideas? The contractor that just did our deck and you know, / porch, because it has a roof, he was fantastic. I shared ideas. I said, I want to do it this way. And a couple times he was like, hey, let's do it. That's a great idea. A few times he was like, no, we can't because this or this, and this is why. And I was spot on, like, okay, I got that. So you want to make sure you can have that conversation. It is your home. So listen to their advice, because they often do know better, but make sure it's a cooperative process. And this is a huge one in terms of saving yourself some money, is will they let you buy some of the materials? Because they're going to charge you 15 to 20% upcharge, which they should. They're going to spend the time. They're going to go to the store. They're going to have to then pay, credit card bills. I mean, they're putting out work on your behalf to get the materials. But if you don't mind doing the work and the legwork to go find what it is you want, then they should be agreeable. Some of them, no, they want to get it from their supplier and their supplier only. I don't want to work with a guy like that. So it's up to you. You need to do your homework. You follow up on the referrals, go and look at their work. You're having something done and it's a big investment. It's your money, it's your home. Make sure you communicate very clearly as you go. Expect a written contract. That's important. Do not give too much money down. It shouldn't be any more than typically 30% to get started. When the work begins, all right, keep this in mind. You want to stop working with this guy if he asks for a total payment before the work is completed. Nope. He gets partial payment, and some money is held until the last things are done and you're okay with the work, okay? If a contractor, and I'm going to use the word man because it's typically, male contractors, if they ever make you feel uncomfortable in your own home, done. You figure out a way to settle up and move on. Do not let anyone make you feel uncomfortable in your own home, because I know that can be a little scary. And if you think that they are impaired, oh my God, for God's sake, fire him. The guy that was doing our deck, one of his employees, after about a week into the project, his addiction came to light, and he was out of there. My guy kicked him off the site. I mean, he wasn't drunk on site, but he fired him when he realized what was going on. So, you're talking about your home safety, your liability, and here's a tip on how to be a good homeowner, having a contractor working at their home, because this came up when I was dealing with Chris. Please, 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 for the love of God, offer them food and water. Offer them something to eat. Make sure that they have drinks. Chris was telling me that he has worked on projects where he's had a crew out in the blazing sun and nobody offers them water. Like, that's just wrong. These are people that you hired to do something for you because you can't do it for yourself. And you need to respect them. You need to be gracious. We had a little dorm fridge in our garage and I stocked it with Gatorade. And, one of the workers was like, "You're spending a fortune on Gatorade." And I said, "I'm okay with that because, you need to stay hydrated." And, we let them use the bathroom. And so, have a warm, gracious attitude, and you'd be surprised how they'll go the extra mile for you. So I think that's it on that one, isn't it, Denise?
Yep, that's all 4 of them.
So, but they're in the portal, so if you want to follow up on them again, print them out, share them with somebody. So is there anything else that you guys wish you knew about, or classes you'd be interested in taking? We're going to send out a little survey, but if there's anything that comes to mind.
You have access to
the electrical class.
What?
I liked the electrical and the water, leaks, water, plumbing.
Oh, okay. Electricity and plumbing.
Yeah, I because those are the big things.
The scary ones.
Yeah, well, just that, things that you have to take care of. So,
yeah.
But I also was interested in the hanging art class, even though I think you can see a picture behind me.
I know, it's beautiful poppies.
That was put up by my mom. Otherwise, I mean, to me, it's 4 walls and surfaces to write. To me, I couldn't care less about what my home looks like as long as it's clean and functional. But
you know what? And that's fine. Everybody, everybody has, their own priorities in their space.
But I still did learn, things. And my mom asked me to do things. And a lot of those things are to hang pictures. And or fill holes in the wall where she put nails in. So lots of things like that. I listen, for her behalf, because I'm also kind of fixing things in her home, and that's where I'll be, on my next time
adventure. So you'll be using her tools instead of your own.
Yeah, finding or buying tools because she gave them away, for some
reason. No.
Yeah.
She's on her own?
She's on her own, yeah. So
yeah. It was interesting. This past week, I took my son back to college, and it's his junior year, so I didn't cry quite as much as I did the first 2 years. But in his dorm room, I had given him freshman year a little tool bag. And I'm telling you, we had that tool bag out the whole 5 hours we were setting up that, dorm suite. There's 5 guys in the unit. We were putting together furniture. We were putting stuff on walls. We were, zip tying stuff and making stuff functional. And it was really just useful and invaluable to have this little tool bag there. So I posted on Facebook that, make sure you're packing a toolbox for your kids, And my one friend is so funny. He is a bit of a princess. He doesn't do anything. He grew up doing nothing. He would just rather pay somebody. And he's like, nope, I've told my kid to go find an engineering geek in the hall and ask him for his tools because I'm not giving him a toolbox. And I said, you know what? It's just a bad attitude. Like, you want him to be able to problem solve and have the tools on hand to figure something out and correct something instead of being dependent. I mean, just having to be dependent on somebody else to get something done would just drive me crazy.
Right.
So, but, all right. Well, I thank you guys for popping on tonight and for the last, I think, 10 to 12 weeks. So, but my parting words for you is, and I always say this in my live group classes, that sometimes we're intimidated by a lot of this stuff because we've not been exposed to it. As women growing up, especially, I think a lot of us are probably, 35 and older. We're taught, about cooking and, taking care of a home and being mothers and all of that kind of stuff, which is wonderful. Being a mom was all I ever wanted to do, and I'm grateful for it. But being a homeowner is neither a male or female job. It is a responsible human being job. It is the biggest investment of your life. It's where all of the equity and you're counting on for retirement, for resale and all of that. So it behooves you to take care of it, to study it, to understand it, so that you're maintaining that value, because so much of your future financial situation resides in that property. So you want to make sure you're taking care of it well, and that you feel confident and capable, that you can walk into the store, you can ask, you can have a conversation, and know what you need. And I say this to every class. If we as women, whether we have or not, we as females have the ability to give birth to a human being. We can handle a toilet. We can handle a circuit. We have to stop and step back and think about the magnitude of the things we've already accomplished in life. A lot of folks have been widowed, divorced. You've maintained crazy, careers. You've raised teenagers, and you haven't killed each other yet. Like, if you can get through all of those things in life, you can handle some DIY home repair. And you need to just step back and realize what you're truly capable of and just say, to hell with it. I'm not going to be afraid. You can shut the water off. You can turn a breaker off. You can put up the flag and say, I got as far as I can. Now I need some help. But you can try. So I want you to go on out there and try to do stuff. I'll be honest with you. People have said to me, you're not building that deck yourself. Okay. There's no way I could physically build the project that we had going on out back. There's no way. I'd still be on step 1 by myself. But I learned so much. And I also learned that I'm really damn capable, because I was out there every day with my contractor working side by side him. And he's like, this is awesome having you on site. So it was really kind of, refreshing to know that my skills are strong and appreciated. He was teaching me stuff. I was teaching him stuff. the best was the moment I put an electrical cap on a tube of caulk. And he looked at me and he goes, "That's brilliant." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "I never thought to do that." And I said, "Well, there you go. Your caulk tubes won't dry out."
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just something so simple. But in closing, I forget which one of you gals asked me for a little more on caulking, about the actual how to apply it. So I did shoot a video today on recaulking the caulk behind my kitchen sink, because ants were coming and going in the crack behind the sink. With all the rain, they're looking for an entrance and they come right up around the sink. So I did shoot a video on that. I'm going to edit that together and share some tips and some close-ups so you can see how that is done well. So, and now I have fresh caulk there because it was all crumbling and cracking. So, but all right, thank you guys.
Yes, how long they have access to the portal?
Oh yes, yeah, Kim asked that.
I said lifetime, but even
yeah,
if, yeah, okay.
we have, there's no intended end. So as long as these web resources exist and all the content is there, it's there. So the tech part is not my thing, that's Denise's. So and I want to thank Denise because without her this never would have happened. I know the content, but she helped me deliver it to you, because I could not have done this part at all by myself. So thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
Do the stuff without you. So all right, thank you guys, and feel free to shoot me an email or a message if you need something.
Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.